Hey, good day, good moment. Today, what I will be doing is coloring in a mandala that I did recently. It's very simple and it's like a practice that I did. And then I wrote a note here that says trying to be perfect, and I was learning to draw with ink, actually a dip pen, and this is just trying to use the tool, because every tool that you use is you need to have a certain technique with it, and it takes time to learn. And so I made a couple of mistakes, and the spots where I made a mistake at were the places I was trying to be perfect, whereas with the others, when I was at the other points, when I allowed it to let it flow, it's worked out better. So what I'm going to do today is to color in this ink drawing of my mandala. Maybe you can join me. I'm adding some water. I am in love with water. It's so refreshing and it cools down my throat. It makes me feel grateful to just be able to be in touch with water. And so I'm going to be painting with watercolor today. Now help me choose the palette or the color swatch. What's the proper word? It's the color. I forgot the word now. But anyway, so this is the first option. This is one of my favorites. I used it in my last coloring in section, so I'm not gonna go for that one. And then this is option 2. Possibly. I'm liking the way it looks. Then this is option 3. This one's so pretty. And then this is option 4. All 3 of them are so enticing. Let me check. All 4, because you remember I excluded the ones. I've got 3 to choose from. Okay. I'm going for this. This was option 3. Yes. Thank you for helping me choose. Cheers. I am diving in with yellow while the camera is rolling. I'm adding some water and spreading the color across the perpendicular like shape. And my yellow is getting shade or 2 lighter. I'm moving around the puddle, filling out the shape. and drying my brush. To get rid of the excess water and preventing my card from blowing away. Collecting up all of the extra fluid. Then next I'm going to add a complementary color, which is going to be purple. And purple is a mix of blue and red. So I'm adding my blue. Adding some more fluids, and then I'm adding my red, and I'm adding some more fluid so I can move it around. That was a splatter of water. I just wipe it up, sponging it up, and moving it around. Now I'm moving the puddle around the shape that is resembling the spokes of a wheel. Still moving the puddle, keeping it going. And the color is a faint purple. I'm placing down trying to place down my palette, my paper palette. Moving around the lilac. Around the shape that looks like spokes, but I feel like I need to add more blue, more color, because it's looking rather sparse. I'm adding my red and my blue, and there's a bird chirping in the background. And I'm realizing now that I did not make the smartest move, because with watercolor it's best to did you hear that bird? That was so pretty. Like sounded like you really enjoyed making that sound. Okay, so I added some more color to the spokes, and what I kind of, the mistake in quotation marks that I did was to paint the section adjacent to it. So it is melding into the section next to it. Oh, I've just noticed that there's a gap. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave that for later. Dabbing up the water, and the next section I will paint is, let me show you. So the next section I'm gonna paint is the interleaves. What color I'm gonna make them? Thinking of orange. So I'm gonna do an orange. I will start with my yellow. So I'm dabbing some pigment into the water. I start with the water, then I dab the ink, the yellow ink, then rinse my brush, dab it into water, wet the red ink, the red pigment, and add it to my puddle. Slightly orange, more red. So I'm gonna add some more yellow pigment, and yes, now it's more orange. So now I've got a nice puddle, and I'm pushing the puddle around the shape, the interior of the shape, pushing it around. There's a little bit too much water, so I'm just dabbing my brush, picking up the water, and then I am trying my brush. It's so nice to see this orange. I'm picking up the additional moisture. There's the orange. It's been 17 minutes, and now I'm starting with a new empty block. Let me try to go with the red first. I'm adding the red to my water puddle. Then I'm going in with the yellow, taking some yellow pigment, adding it to the water puddle, and it's looking like some kind of curry powder. So it's coming to mind. Pushing the puddle around. Now I'm just taking up all the axes. I'm taking out all the excess water. Is this thing a bird with my accent? It sometimes just jumps in the way. Like instead of saying excess, my mind goes immediately axis. No, what? Instead of saying excess, it will be axis. But although both words are correct, I meant excess, but then my accent just went like excess. Now I am filling in another blank shape, starting with yellow pigment, and then I'm adding some red. Now it's quite red, it's a bit very red. Don't want it that red. Okay, just put it on its place for difference. I just so let me add some yellow pigment. Okay, so I'm just getting up all the excess moisture. Now this color is looking quite peachy and I like it. I'm thinking about that quote now, that you can be the ripest, juiciest peach. Let me check my microphone on. Yeah. So it says you can be the juiciest, ripest peach. And there's still going to be someone who doesn't like peaches. Personally, for me, I'm a fan of peaches. Not crazy about them, but I'll eat them, especially on a trifle. And just like peaches, not everyone not loving peaches. There's also people who actually detest trifle. They don't like trifle at all. So it's just like peaches. Some people love them, others nah. Me personally, I love peaches. And I love trifle. Okay, I love trifle more than peaches. I just did a nice orange there. So I'm adding some water to the end shape. Going in with my yellow pigment. Some a little more red. Oh, some more yellow. Okay, some more water. And yes, we got it. I'm spreading the puddle and draining the excess water on my tissue. Pushing around the puddle. Listening to the birds in the background. Picking up the extra water. It's another nice orange. We have one more shape to finish. First I start with my water puddle and then I add my pigment. Then I push around the puddle. If I'm happy with what the color looks like. And I dab my paintbrush of water, and then I keep pushing. Okay, so we've got a variety of yellows here, of oranges, sorry. So there's the orange. Next I'm gonna add, what am I gonna add next? I'm gonna add the color green. I'm gonna try a bigger brush because I am lazy. I'm just lazy to do the whole small brush thing. So now I'm gonna start with, because green is yellow, a combination of yellow and blue. So I'll start with blue. And then I'll add yellow. And add some more water. This is a very light green. I like it. So I'm pushing around the water puddle. I think I'm going to go back to my small little brush. It's 27 minutes. Okay. So I started with my paddle and I'm going in with my blue pigment and then adding my yellow pigment, and now I'm happy with that color. It's like a milky green. Pushing my paddle around the shape. And noticing the overcast, the clouds are moving past the sun. They are floating by, and these shapes resemble clouds. I like this green. Now I'm starting with my next shape, and I started with a little water paddle and then adding blue and then adding some yellow. Then I'm adding some more water because it's a little bit darker. The pigment the tone is darker, shade darker. Just fine. Or not. Every cloud does not look the same. It's organic. I guess that's how you know when someone is for real, is when they're different, because that's the truth, is that we are each unique. We are each so unique. Starting with another new shape. I'm starting with the blue. Going to yellow. Okay, I want it. Okay, let me keep that green because the shade is slightly more warmer. It has got more yellow in it. I like that extra blue, so I'm gonna add some blue. Yes. I've got my paddle and I'm pushing it around so I can cover the empty space. And there's quite a bit of water there, so I am just scooping it up with the brush. I'm enjoying this so much. I'm enjoying talking and I'm enjoying painting this. And my stomach is growling. I wonder what I'm gonna eat for lunch. What will I have for lunch? What will I have for lunch? Going in with my blue pigment. And I'm adding my yellow pigment after rinsing it. Then I think there's slightly too much yellow in this. I'm adding a little bit more blue. And when I'm happy, I think go ahead and push around the puddle. We are 32 minutes in. Then I'm pushing around the puddle until it falls out the cloud-like shapes. And I'm lapping up a little bit of water into my tissue, and then I've got one more shape left over of the cloud-like shape. Starting with my puddle. Then I am going in with the blue. Beautiful birds flying by, saying hi. Flying by, saying hi. So I'm lapping up the water because it's so close to the mixed shape and I don't want it to bleed into the other one. Pardon the interruption. Oh my god! I just put my brush in my water, in my drinking water. But it was clean, so I'm gonna drink it. And oh, this is how far I got. Oh, that didn't taste nice. Oh. Okay. Guess I messed up that water. Okay. So now what next? I want to do a blue. A lot like a blue. Sky blue. So, dipping my brush into water. Then I am adding the water to my paper. Picking up some pigment, ay. Picking up some pigment, ay. Okay, now pushing around the water. Then I'm hearing those birds squirking. Sounds like they are squirking. I don't know if that's a name that actually works. I hope my mic is clear. I'm pushing it around the water. Then picking up the extra moisture. I'm not feeling this brush size. Going back to my small brush. The wind is making its presence known, and hey wind, how's it going? Okay, then some activity in the background. I'm pushing around the puddle. And I'm taking up some of those extra moisture. Adding some more water. Then I'm putting in some blue pigment. Adding a little bit more water just to make it a tone lighter. And pushing around the puddle, drying up the extra water. It's so much fun to say water instead of water. For me, it's fun. Now moving on to the next shape. Adding more blue tints to the water, adding more water to the tint, adding a little bit more water while I play with possibility of having a British accent. And I love the way the water stains the paper. It absorbs into the paper and then it causes a unique shape. It's so cool. And starting with the next shape, I'm going dipping into my blue, dipping into my water, dipping into my blue again, and then dipping into my water again. Now there's quite a lot of water and I need to dry it up. So I'm just picking up the water with my brush, and I'm pushing around the puddle all the gaps. It's mixing with the ink a little bit, and that's totally cool. And then I'm lapping up all of that extra water. One more shape to go for this color. Adding my blue pigment. It's quite blue, so I'm adding some water to dilute the color and pushing around the puddle, breathing a little bit. Breathing is beautiful. Thank God for breath. Pushing, picking up some of the water, the additional water, and that's it. And I'm just adding an additional layer to the previously dried section. It was slightly too pale, although not bad. And added my second layer. So now it's done with the blue. Next, I want a really bright yellow in the middle. I'm gonna go in with the yellow. I'm testing it out on the paper. Thinking I'll start on the outer edge. Then I want more yellow. So I'm pushing around the puddle containing the yellow pigments. And I'm adding more pigment, more yellow. Pushing around this pit. Oh, oops, too much water. Still pushing it around and around and around. Okay. Okay, I think probably need a tiny brush get this going, but I'm gonna experiment here with some dots. Even if it blends in with the surrounding water, it's okay. Okay, tried some dots there. So the center is done, and next is I need just to add more yellow on the gap from earlier, and then I'm waking up the water, the additional water, and filling the empty space. Perfect. Now next is the outer rim. I'm thinking I'm gonna do reed. Gonna do like a nice reed. I start with adding my puddle of water and then going in with the red. Once I'm happy with it, I move around the puddle. If I don't have a big enough puddle, I am increasing the size of it, and I'm pushing around the water puddle. Now I hear the scratching noise of the brush against the piece of paper. And then I pick up the extra moisture. Thinking I'm gonna alternate the colors, so every other one I'll go red. I love this deep, beautiful red. It's like a nice plum. Looks like a plum. Juicy. It reminds me of a plum. It doesn't necessarily look like a plum. It simply reminds me of it. Now I'm moving around the puddle. See my accent there, pedal. I wanted to say pedal instead of paddle. And I just colored outside of the line. Let me see if I can. Ooh. Okay. There. Okay. It's a nice bright view, I'm gonna try and duplicate it. So I'm adding my red and my water. Yes, I think I managed to duplicate it. And I'm pushing around the paddle. And lapping up all of that extra water. Picking up all of that extra water. And I'm moving on to the next empty shape, adding a red. Ooh, that was a nice red. I love deep reds. I just colored outside of the line again. Hopefully that's going to give us some character. And I'm lapping up all of the extra moisture. Okay. And I am adding some more red. One more shade to go. Ooh. I wanted to match the one next to it. So I am diluting it and then taking up the water. Extra one. It's 18 minutes later. Time moves so fast when you're having fun. Okay, the next to it I'm gonna do, what am I gonna do next to it? It's either I do a blue green or I do a purple. Blue, green, or purple. Let me try purple. I'm gonna try and make it a nice as bright as possible. And just once I'm alright with the color, I am spreading it around. Then I'm still spreading the water paddle to fill up the gaps and taking up all of that extra moisture. More purple. So we go with red. Some blue, This is more like a deeper shade of purple. Taking up all of that extra moisture. It's like a blue purple. I'm gonna try a more reddish purple. One more shade to go. Okay, some red, some blue pigment, maybe a bit more red. Yes. Okay, got a nice shade of purple here. Just pushing around the petal. Last petal of the day. Then off to lunch, which I'll figure out on the way. But thank you for joining me, and it's quite a long video. Setting out the lettering, and I kind of messed it up. There's the finished product. Thank you for joining me, and have an amazing day further.